Recording in progress.
Well, hi everybody. I told you I was going to be live. I'm live now. All right, so I'm just pulling this up on my phone, make sure I can see everybody. Okay, I got it. All right, so if you are joining live, say hi in the chat. If you are watching the replay, say hashtag replay. We are going to have a fun time. Fun time. Okay. All right. So we have been doing the visibility formula workshop for the last 4 days. It's been an absolute blast. We had almost 400 doctors register, and the ones who could come on live came on live. The ones who watched the replay caught the replay. We actually have over 200 people that watched the replay for day one. So I know everybody's binging on the content. People have already started creating wins and all of that, which makes me super excited because that means that, it doesn't take too much for us to learn skills that we can use to put ourselves out there, attract the patients and clients that we want, and literally change our lives. So there are people who had already booked a number of spots on podcasts, got accepted for speaking gigs, got some IG lives and Facebook lives coming, and that is just the beginning of many of the transformations that they are going to experience. So that was a lot of fun to watch. Makita has a bonus session where she'll be interviewing, I think she has 4 doctors from the EntreMD Business School who are doing really, really well. If you listen to the EntreMD podcast, and more especially the Doctors Changing Medicine podcast, you'll know that I like to feature doctors who are doing amazing things inside and outside the exam room, because we need examples of what is possible. We've been sold a lie that we don't make good entrepreneurs, and things can't change and we're stuck and all of that, and those are literally all lies. And so I love featuring people who show that they're lives. Hi, Dr. Sharita. Hi. All right, so now, again, if you're live, say hi. If you're watching the replay, say hashtag replay. I want to talk to you guys about a day that I almost lost millions of dollars. Okay. And this is going to help you, like, any physician, anybody really, but any physician who's listening, to take a different approach to how you handle certain situations. So this is the deal. In 2016, I had been in private practice for about 6 years, and private practice was going really well. I was working 4-day work weeks because I had a doctor who just wanted to work on Fridays. So she would work on Friday. I only worked Monday through Thursday, which was amazing because I had a long weekend every weekend. And at this time, I had my 4 kids. The practice was profitable. Like we were totally good. But like many of you, I had this knowing itch, like there's more. I don't know what more is, but there's more. I didn't go after it so much. I wasn't chasing after it. But one day in the morning, I was in my study at home, and I just had this knowing. There's no other way I can describe it. It was a knowing that medicine as we know it is gone. So this was 6 years ago. Medicine as we know it is gone. Things have changed. And if the only skill I have is doctoring, I'm going to be out of luck. And at that time, my only skill was doctoring. There was no other way I knew how to generate revenue. And so, I hear a lot of doctors say, well, I'm a one-trick pony. The only way I can, make money is by doctoring. So I thought that way as well. And so I started thinking about, I was like, okay, so what could I do? It's so funny. I still have the thing, I wrote it on in my office downstairs. And it was like, well, what if I could develop myself as a CEO of my private practice, where as the CEO, so not as a clinician, as the CEO, I can make as much as I'm making as a pediatrician. Like, what I do is that valuable. I thought about that. I thought about being a paid speaker. Now, we're talking about a very shy, socially awkward, introverted introvert, right? And so you think about how impactful that knowing was, that I even considered it. So I was like, I could be a paid speaker. I was like, I could be a consultant. I didn't even know there was a thing like coaching at the time. So I was like, I can be a consultant. I could, do courses. I could be an author. So I thought of all the things. I was like, what? And then I was like, I'm not good at any of these things. Like, I'm not good at any of them. But I was impressed enough to go like, okay, well, I guess I have to learn how to do these things, right? And I started reading books and doing all of those things. And I was exploring, but I knew that I had to, right? I had to. And so I came across, I don't remember what it was, an email or something, I don't know. But there was a speakers boot camp that was happening in Atlanta, so local to me. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go for the speakers boot camp. Now, again, it was the scariest thing I have ever done because I'm an introvert. So I would go for events. If I go for an event, I'm sitting at the back, doing my thing, leaving as soon as it's politically correct to leave, right? That was my MO as an introvert. And so, to go learn how to speak, like, what am I going to do? Go on stage? Like, who's fooling who, But anyway, I was curious enough. And, at this point, I'd already been searching. So I was like, fine. So I went for this speakers boot camp. And I was like, I went with my sister, I think it was, and her husband and my husband, like, we just go, it'd be a fun thing we'll do. And so went for it. And they taught a lot, kind of like the way the visibility formula was. There's a lot of teaching and we got to practice and stuff like that. Now, when I say got to practice, they literally they broke us into small groups and had everybody do a 3-minute talk. I was like, oh my goodness, I wanted to disappear, but I couldn't. So I did the 3-minute talk and all of that. And so this event was for 3 days. And at the end of the third day, I'm thinking like, my goodness, like, I have done a lot of things that I never would have done, right? Like if I wasn't at the event. And so at the end of the event, then, the organizers were like, okay, so this is the deal. You've experienced a lot of transformation, all of that stuff. For some of you, it's good. Just do that. Keep it moving. For some of you, you want to dive deeper. And I'm going like, I need to dive deeper because this is great, but, I need more. And then so they started talking about their program, a speakers mastermind. And so I was like, that's cool. And then they went on and on and on until they got to the investment. And then they're like, the investment is $43,000 for this 10-month program. And I'm like, is it laced with gold? Is it laced with gold or what? What do you mean? And all of that stuff. And I was like, but the thing is this though, I wanted to change so bad, not in a desperate kind of way where I could be easily fooled or swindled or anything like that, but in a way like I can't stay the same. I can't not have the skills. I can't not retool myself. I'm like, where the medical space is heading is dangerous. I can't do that. And so I talked to my husband. I was like, hey, we're going to sign up for this thing and all that stuff. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. Right. And so I signed up for it. I gulped real loud and hard. And I signed up for it because remember at this point, I don't think I'd ever even bought a course. Like this whole world was new to me. And so I did that. But this is the deal though. At the end of 10 months, I was not pretty proficient because it took a lot of practice for me to be a good speaker. But I had learned a lot. I had practiced a lot. I had done reps with speaking. Because when I showed up like I am getting a return on investment on my 43,000, like that's for sure. Okay. Now at this point, there was no EntreMD. There was no Dr. Una Academy. There was nothing. There was just me saying there's more. That's all that I had at that time. Little did I know that one decision that day was the decision that set the stage for EntreMD, right? Because you think about, EntreMD Live, the coaching that we've done, the business school, the podcasts, right? And all of that, it all came out of that, right? It came out of embracing that, learning to speak, learning to retool myself. I learned that speaking is the fastest way to grow any business. And so, so I went all in on it and it worked. And so the foundation of $1 million business was hidden behind a decision to invest in myself. It was hidden behind that, right? So, and then not only that, but that is also the reason why my practice survived the pandemic. Because the second the pandemic hit, all the traditional things that we had already done were not working as well. And so I had to almost treat my practice like an online business. I brought in the speaking. We started doing a lot of YouTube videos, Facebook Lives, all of those things, brought in the email marketing, brought in like all the things that I had learned. And so not only did it set the stage for a $1 million business, it also set the stage for a private practice that survived and thrived in the midst of a pandemic. Okay. And so when I think about it, I'm like, if I had said no to invest in myself, or if I stayed undecided, like, am I going to invest in myself or not? I would have set myself up that the opportunity cost of that is just too high, because the opportunity cost is, well, I don't build EntreMD. The opportunity cost is that who knows what would have happened to my private practice? I don't know. I really don't know, right? And so how could I have lost millions of dollars that day if I didn't decide? If I didn't decide to invest in myself, if I didn't decide that I'm going to retool myself, if I didn't decide that, hey, I am going to learn new skills that I am going to use so I can survive whatever comes to the healthcare space, right? And so when you can apply this to any decision, right? You want to make a decision. It's like absolutely or absolutely not, right? You don't want to be undecided, right? Because it's kind of like, there's nothing that happens with indecision at all. So for instance, if you've been thinking about starting a business, it's absolutely or absolutely not. If you have been doing multiple six figures and you're like, this is my year for seven figures, or you've decided I want to build this like a business and build a team so I can move on to the next vertical that I want to build, it's absolutely or absolutely not. And if you're watching this, type that in the chat, absolutely or absolutely not. You want to come to a decision. You want to make an informed decision, because your future, your destiny, all the things that can happen are at the mercy of decisions. So someone said, indecision is a form of self-abuse. I was like, okay, but really it is. It's just not a cool place to be. And so because of that, I know I've been getting a lot of emails and questions and DMs about the EntreMD Business School, because it is open for enrollment for the June cohort. Even though there are a lot of yummy bonuses for the people who want to sign up for it now, I want to challenge you to make a decision. And the decision doesn't have to be yes, right? But it needs to be absolutely or absolutely not. Like, own a decision, make it. You see what I'm saying? Okay. All right, so what I want to do is I want to walk you through what exactly the EntreMD Business School looks like, what you get when you join it, and all of that. And then so that way you can make your decision. You can make your decision, but don't live in indecision and don't believe it's not possible, right? Okay, so let me even start from there, because we've been sold that, oh, you can't build this kind of business, you can't do that, you can't retire this age, they're all lies, okay? Yesterday, during the Visibility Formula workshop, we had 3 doctors come to tell their stories, okay? And I'm gonna give them big shout out. So one of them is Dr. Narissa Bauer. She's the founder of Teach Me ADHD, and she supports kids and their families, kids who've had a diagnosis of ADHD and their family. What she does is so phenomenal. As a pediatrician who treats patients with ADHD, it warms my heart to no end, okay? And she's like, when I came in, there's so many things I didn't think were possible for me. I didn't have the confidence. I didn't know how to promote myself. When Dr. Una first talked about doing videos, like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's kind of where she was. But here she is. She just renewed for year 2, and she has served 72 families in her program, right? She's created so many opportunities, setting up for licensing, all kinds of stuff, amazing wins in a year, because she just renewed in April this month, right? So many amazing wins. Dr. Megan Mello is a family medicine doctor and a coach as well. And she had finished her coach certification. I love her story. She told it on the podcast too, because she was like, when the opportunity came for me to sign up for the business school, I was like, I've just, done my coaching certification, all of this. I've invested a lot in myself. I don't know if I can do this. But then she's like, but I did a challenge in, the Facebook group, same way we're doing the visibility formula, I guess. And she's like, and I started getting results. I was like, wait a minute, this is what I need to do. And so she tells her husband, I'm just telling you, like, FYI, I'm doing I'm doing this. Okay. Now she is part of the January cohort, January 2022. But they got early access to the vault, which for anybody who signs up, when you sign up on Monday, you get access to the vault. You get access to every training we have ever done in EBS between now and June. So it's almost like getting 2 months of the business school for free. It's like the most amazing thing. So you can actually start the business school, and you start by going like, hey, I have wins I want to share with you guys. You can start that way. You can start with, if I launch that business, you can start with, I already recouped my investment. You can start with that. So anyway, so she joined so she signed up in November, end of November, and then she started in January. And she's like, January was my best month. And as if that was not good enough, March was my best month after that, right? And so she's already creating these transformations. I'm telling you, when they tell you that we can't thrive, or you think like you're stuck, this is not true. And then we listened to Amelia Beakey. Dr. Amelia Beakey, she is the founder of Coaching for Institutions. She started off like, I started off this program, I put 13 doctors in it. I was like, kind of trying to figure this thing out. Again, she's one of those who's in year 2. Last year, her institution served, or her organization served 500 physicians, did $500,000 in revenue. I'm only saying that because she said it, $500,000 in revenue. Okay, so doctors are doing amazing things. We can do amazing things. Don't believe the lie. We may need direction. And that's the reason the EntreMD Business School exists. It exists to support your goals. It is the #1 business school for physician entrepreneurs who want to build 6- and 7-figure businesses. You're like, I want to do that. The business school is for you. Okay, it will give you the coaching that you need. It will give you the accountability you need, because again, a lot of times we know what to do, but we don't have the accountability, we don't have the support, we don't have the motivation that we need to do it. It gives you the coaching, gives you accountability, and it gives you the most amazing community. I cannot tell you how many doctors have been like, even if there was no coaching at all, the community is worth the investment for the EntreMD Business School. And it is, right? Because your network is your net worth at the end of the day, right? And this is a community of unicorns. Unicorns. These are people who are physician entrepreneurs, who are thriving, who are on their way, who are doing the things, who are daring their fears. And it's not a place that's like with toxic positivity, because we're talking about doctors who will share their challenges, share their wins, support each other, open doors for each other, create connections for other people, recommend that other people. It's insane. Totally insane what happens in the EntreMD Business School. So I want to walk you through exactly what it's all about. And at the end of this, what I want you to do is you make a decision and you say absolutely or absolutely not, right? But no indecision. As my mentor said, indecision is a form of self-abuse. Okay. Now, if you have questions, post them in the comments. You can send me a DM, whatever you want to do, but ask your questions, but don't stay undecided. Decide. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen here so I can give you all the deets as soon as I can find the screen. I posted one day that I had 43 tabs open on my computer, going like, what do we do about this? And people are like, that's all you have? My fellow friends, if you're one of those, let me know in the comments if you're one of those people who have a gazillion screens open. Okay. All right. So let's walk through this because I want you to have this, and then you can make your quality decision. Okay. So like I said, it's the #1 business school for physician entrepreneurs who want to build 6- and 7-figure businesses. You've thought that this is not possible. There is a community of people who are getting this done. Okay. All right. It is exclusively for physicians, and you get the coaching, you get the accountability, you get the community. Why do we need these three? Well, with the coaching, you need a roadmap. You need a roadmap. You need to you need to be asked the questions that will make you see where you are, do the right things, see where you're, tripping, dabbling, all of those kind of things. But you get a roadmap. If you've read the EntreMD method book, you will know that I'm all about simple frameworks, okay? How to do this, how to do that. They're all simple. And everything that we need to do is easier than what we have to do for med school, okay? So the accountability, okay? So if you're here and you're watching and you know that there are many things you know to do, but you haven't been able to bring yourself to do it, and you know it's accountability, there's no other thing, then just say me in the chat, right? People say, how are you always motivated? I'm like, I'm not always motivated. I just built accountability around me, right? I built accountability, and that's why it seems that way, but I'm not. And then the community, oh my goodness, I cannot speak highly enough about the community. Okay, you're talking about a group of ridiculously talented physicians who have said, yes, I am going to do this. Okay. Now, one of the reasons why we have an application process. So if you're already like, Dr. Una, please, I don't need to hear about this anymore. I know this is what I should do. Where you're going to is entremd.com/business. Okay. And there's an application process. And the reason for that is we have built something that is really so special and so good. And this is my legacy work. I'm not looking to put everybody in it. I'm looking to put the people in there who want to be there, who want to do the work, who are scared. They think they're going to do it messy. They don't know what they're doing, but they're committed. I can work with all of that as long as you're committed, because I'm committed 100% to see you succeed. If you're committed 100%, it's a match made in heaven. We can do this. Okay. And so I'm really, very, really, I really guard the community, right? To make sure that number one, it's a disservice to you if that's not what you really want to do, right? But then number two, we want to make sure that we keep the community the way it is. It is so wildly, insanely wonderful. Okay. All right. Now, so if you're a doctor who knows there has to be more, or you're ready to launch a business, or you're ready to grow your business, then this is for you. Okay. So you may not have a roadmap, not a problem. You may not be motivated, not a problem. You may not have accountability, not a problem. All I need from you is, I want to do this and I'm committed. That's it. And we can work out the rest. Okay. So this is me going like, don't believe the lie. Okay. We make the best entrepreneurs. And the reason why I can say that is because what is entrepreneurship? It's about helping people, and you get a thank you note called money. That's what entrepreneurship is. And so physicians are people who decided, I am willing to go into multiple six-figure debt because I really want to be empowered to help people. I mean, like, can you think about at the core, that's the foundation of entrepreneurship. And we have that, right? We don't go into medicine to make money. I mean, there are easier ways to make money. And you know what I mean? Like, so we make the best entrepreneurs. Now, it used to be back in the day, you could be an entrepreneur if you wanted. In the landscape that we live in right now with entrepreneurship, you don't really, it's not optional. Like if you want to be safe, it's not really optional. We don't have autonomy. Physicians are burnt out. We're being replaced, devalued in the workplace. Like we can just replace you, right? And the businesses owned by physicians, a lot of times are not really doing well, right? Because one is that we bought the lie that we're not good entrepreneurs, so we don't learn how to do these things. Some even get upset when they say that your private practice is a business. It's like, it's not a business. It is a business, right? And so as long as we hide from that, we have these businesses that are not doing really well. They're not doing as well as they can, right? And so I put private practices are going out of business by the thousands, but it's really physician-led businesses, right? And so it's not an option anymore. And you might be going, well, what of my kind of business, right? Maybe this works for private practice. And I'm just going to run through all the businesses represented here. Top left is a life coach and meditation teacher, Dr. Rashmi Sham. Amazing wins. Like she's done so many amazing things in her business. She's also, we call them EBS masters. She's also in year 2. Bottom left is Dr. Karen Kaufman. She's allergy immunology in private practice. Top middle is Dr. Michelle Quirk. She's a run coach. She's actually in the middle of getting ready for her second virtual 5K. And I think I'll probably post the link in the chat and you guys can go register. I'm going to be doing it too. Dr. Chanel Wilson, she's a urologist. And she initially joined, this is her second year as well. She initially started a nonprofit called Urology Unbound that is designed to fix the lack of diversity in urology. And now she's working on private practice, her own private practice, which is so amazing. Dr. Latoya, she's more of a e-commerce type of person. She's an OBGYN, and she believes that, you know, African Americans should have their own hub where they can shop for products and services that are made specifically for them. And so she has a company called By Default, like Buy Black by Default. Really amazing. Dr. Whaley Gray, she's been on the podcast 2 times. She is a sleep medicine physician in Vermont, and she's an intrapreneur, so she works her job and she's practicing all the EDS principles there and showing up like a total boss and negotiating like a boss and all of that. And then she also helps physicians with life planning. She hosts a podcast called Dare to Dream Physicians, which is really great. I've been on it. And I got off, I was like, oh my goodness, you're such a great interviewer. And so if you look at this, you see all the different kinds of businesses that are represented, all different kinds. Okay, so will it work for your business? Well, yes, right? And so I would love to put you on a screen the next time that I'm talking about this because of the amazing things that you do. All right, so why the business school? Well, one is that we have really succinct curriculum, okay? It's not about learning, it's about learning to do. So my job is to take away all the fluff, all the excesses, and give you exactly what you need to get the result that you're looking for. And we just did a huge upgrade on the curriculum in the EntreMD Business School. I did a live in the school about it just before coming on here. It's so amazing, I'm so excited. The second thing is we focus on action and momentum. Again, we learn, but we learn to do, okay? We focus on action, momentum, stay in momentum, keep getting things done. You have a very inspiring and supportive community. We have amazing guests, okay? We've had guests who would come to teach on, you know, how to build a team. We've had guests on how to leverage a virtual assistant, how to create a course, productivity secrets, how to create irresistible offers, how to build unstoppable confidence, how to pitch the media, all kinds of things. So these are done by experts in their field, how to get on stages for TED Talks. We've had all of those, okay? The primary goal of the business school is your result, nothing else. It's you getting results. And I am not a theorist, I'm a practitioner, right? And so what that means is that all the things that I teach in the business school, I've done them. I've watched them work. I've built 2 very successful 7-figure businesses, and it's those principles. So it's not fluff. It's not, oh, this may book, or, oh, I saw this guru say that. None of that. None of that. The focus is you getting results. Okay, so what do we focus on? Well, we help you articulate what you do, so your ideal client says yes. We help you build an audience of raving fans who will turn into paying clients. We help you create consistent revenue so you can have financial freedom, okay? So it's traditionally said that, you know, our salaries are like golden handcuffs. No, we're free, okay? Build automation systems and teams so that way you can buy your time back, okay? You can, for the last 2.5 years, I saw patients 1 day a week. Now, am I saying people should not see patients? No, that's because that's what I wanted to do, right? There was no burnout, there was no problem, but I always said at 40, I was going to retire because I have 9 lives going on at the same time. Okay, so that's my thing. So the framework, you have weekly live sessions. So think visibility formula on steroids happening every week, right? You have monthly challenges, so that way you stay in momentum. We have guest experts. We have that private Facebook group where we're talking 100 unicorns, okay? Physician entrepreneurs in one space. We would do special projects like last year, we did a collaboration book. I don't think I've even announced the name of that book. So I don't think I've announced it yet, but there's a collaboration book that's going to be launched later this year and that we worked on together. So the doctors in the business school who opted to do it are the authors in the book. So many opportunities for collaboration, because guess what? If everybody in the business school is growing their audience, it's not just me growing my audience. It's me growing my audience and having access to all these other people who are growing their audiences, who are growing their businesses. It's insane. It's so wild. So people who have podcasts, YouTube channels, connections to all kinds of people, they're all in the group. And sometimes the question is all you need to open a door. And then we have in-person events. We have the vision retreat that happens in October. We have the business makeover mastermind that happens in April. So literally next week, I'm going to be in person with some of the students from the EntreMD Business School. So this was our vision retreat from last year. We were at Hilton Head. It was off the chain. Like you can literally go and check the hashtag EBS retreat 21, hashtag EBS retreat 21, and you'll see all the amazing people, all the things that happened during that retreat. All right, so if you're like, I want to start a business, I don't know how, I want to grow my business, I don't know how, I've been stuck in my business, I've plateaued in my business, I don't know how, I've been trying to crack 7 figures, I don't know how, but I'm willing to do the work, then this is for you. If you're a complainer, blamer, and you're just like, want to play the victim, all that stuff, this will not be the right place for you, because I consider this as something for people described as business athletes, like people who are like, we want to do this. We know we have to train. We know we have to learn stuff and all that, but we're committed. If that's you, then it's perfect for you. The investment, I like to be funny and say it's $43,000. Okay, but it's not. That $43,000 was my investment, okay? It's 12 monthly payments of $1,500. Okay, that's what it comes to, 12 monthly payments of $1,500, or a one-time payment of $15,000, which is a $3,000 savings, okay? And, I like to say it this way. This is an MBA, MBA at my local university, well, the university that's local to me is $145,000. So I saved you quite a bit of money, okay? This is six-figure saving, okay? So this is where you go to apply, EntreMD.com/business. We've had a number of doctors who have joined us for this, for the June cohort, and I'm so excited about it. So you might be going like, well, it's June, why should I apply now? Okay, so we'll talk about that in a second, but you may be thinking, okay, I don't have the time, okay? But the thing is this, yeah, you don't have the time. You don't have the time not to do this, right? So we're burning daylight. It doesn't get easier as we get older. The way the medical space is set up, we don't have time to not retool ourselves. That is so risky. We don't have time to not do that, okay? You might be saying, I don't have the money. And, I already told you my story. It's not as though when it was my time, I had $43,000 lying around like, yeah, I want to give that to a coach. But at the same time, if I didn't do that, the opportunity cost is so high. So the question is not, well, is it $15,000? The question is, what does the $15,000 make possible for me? What does it make possible for me? Right? And so that's the question that you need to be asking. You may say, well, I've done programs like this before and it didn't work. And I want to say, give yourself some grace and get back in the ring. Okay, give yourself some grace. Think about the time that maybe you didn't do well on a test in medical school. What did you do? Drop out? No, right? You gave yourself some grace. You went back, you studied, you did what you needed to do, and you made it work. So give yourself some grace. But this program has been tested and has been proven. And, my work has been tested and has been proven. So this is a repeatable process that you can apply to your business. Okay. All right. So you have options. You can say, nope, Dr. Una, I want to indulge in self-abuse by not making a decision. Like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to hide my head in the sand. Okay. But don't do that. Or you can say, no, I can do this by myself. Okay. Or you can say, I don't want to do the trial and error. I don't want to do the experiment. I don't want to do any of that. I want a proven roadmap. I want to get the direction. I want to get the accountability. I want to get the coaching. I want to be in the community. Then the EntreMD Business School is where you should be. Okay. All right. So this is a statement that I love. You make the decision, then you make the decision right. Like, so you make the decision, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have to move some things around for time. I'm going to have to move some things around, but I'm going to do it. You make the decision, then you make it right. Okay, so where are you going to apply? EntreMD.com/business. You have nothing to lose. We have no interest in convincing you to get in the school if the school is not a good fit for you. There are already people who we've told, this is not a good fit for you. This is what you should go do first. And then we'll still be here when you're ready. Okay, we have no interest whatsoever. And so what that means is don't be afraid to turn in an application. Turn in your application. We will be happy to review it and then let you know what this school has your name written all over it, or you should wait, or clarify some questions to see if we can make this work, right? But we have no interest in manipulating anybody or convincing anybody, okay? All right, so this is a date. This is a date when your fast track orientation with me will start. That's June the 17th. But in the meantime, okay, you get access to the whole vault. So you remember I was saying we did a major upgrade to the curriculum and all of that. You get access to that with a custom roadmap saying start here, do this part first, then this second, and this third. If you already have an established business, you can literally recoup your investment before your start date of June 17th. You can literally go like, yep, already made my 15,000 back, and everything else on it is just big ROI, okay? So you can literally do that. If you don't have a business, you can decide on your business. You can get it registered. You can, so that when you start in June, you hit the ground running, okay? So this is like 2 free months to the business school, which, you know, which really, if you look at it, is a $3,000 value. Okay, so you're getting a $3,000 bonus for signing up now. And then I'm also gonna be hosting a VIP group session called Behind the Scenes of a $1 Million Company. And what I'm gonna be doing is taking you behind the scenes, talking to you about my first 2 businesses and how we, you know, went on track to do the million and the road bumps that we had along the way, the lessons we learned, all the things. And then you have opportunities to ask questions. So that on its own is so powerful. I did it for the first time, I wanna say a month ago, 2 months ago, it may have been a month ago. And I mean, it was phenomenal, such a game changer. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna look in the comments for questions. So even if you're watching the replay, you can put your questions there. The team will come back to get to those. But I want to answer some I get all the time. Okay. How long will I be in the school? A minimum of a year. Okay. But like I said, many people are in year 2, and the people in year 2 are already talking about being there many years. Okay, so but it's a minimum of a year, right? And then after that, you can choose to renew or you can choose to move on. The time commitments, we have weekly sessions for 60 to 90 minutes. And if you are a full-time entrepreneur, then you want to work full-time. And I mean, put all that gas into your business and, you know, really knock it out of the park. If you are working a full-time job and stuff like that, if you can give 2 hours a week, 2 to 3 hours a week, you should be golden to do a lot of implementation. That'll make a huge difference. And many people in the school are working jobs, many of them. Is there any one-to-one coaching? No, this is a group program. Having said that, you will find the power of the community such that you don't want to lose that advantage, right? And you have opportunities to ask questions in the Facebook group. You have opportunities to ask questions, you know, on the live calls and all of that. So you will have your stuff addressed, but there is no one-on-one coaching. Does it help with my kind of business? I showed you that slide to show you all the kinds of businesses that are represented. So if you're an intrapreneur, meaning that you're an employee and you want to build your personal brand, it works for you. If you are private practice, you're a coach, you offer some other kind of service, you have a product, you're doing a nonprofit, whichever, those work. If you're like, I want to learn about investing in the stock market, then no, we don't do that. Okay. Can I try it? And the answer to that is no. And the reason for that is the community we want to reserve for people who are committed, who are all in, because that's what it takes to thrive as an entrepreneur. So I like to ask the question, well, what if you tried medical school for a few months? There's nobody who tries medical school for a few months who will be a physician, because, you know, there are ups and downs, right? There are ups and downs, and there are things that are hard and all of that. And if you're going to try, you're not going to survive it. You really are not. And so we're looking for people who are committed. You can be afraid, and that's fine. You can be afraid and say yes. You can do things afraid. I have done everything afraid. And it's so much so that now I'm just like, yeah, fear, you can stay right there, but I'm going to do what I'm going to do, you know? And so you can be afraid. That's not a problem, but we do need people who are committed. All right, so EntreMD.com/business. Why did I take the time to do all of this? I don't want you to be in indecision. Like I said, indecision is a form of self-abuse. Okay, so I want you to say, absolutely, I'm going to be in the business school, or absolutely not. I'm not doing that. I don't need that. Okay, both decisions are great, but you want to make a decision. Okay, so EntreMD.com/business. You can go and apply. Like I said, we're not trying to convince people to be in there. We just want to make sure it's a great fit, and we'll be happy to welcome you in. We would love to welcome you in. We've had some really great doctors come on, and I'm so excited. And I think for the ones that have come on, they all, well, not all, but some of them have businesses that are already established. And like I said, if they start applying these principles, they can recoup their investment even before their official start date. So this is going to be so good. So if you have questions, you can post them in the chat. You can send them to hello@entremd.com. You can send me a DM. I have Dr. Emeka saying he joined and can't wait to get started. I cannot wait, Doc. You are going to knock it out the park. I am so excited for you. So excited. And I think you're one of those, you're going to recoup your stuff before you even get started in June. I think you will. Okay. All right. So that's what I have for you guys today. I'm happy to answer any questions. As you know, I love the physician community. This is our time, and we are going to knock this stuff out of the park. So before you leave, I want you to bump this so other doctors see it. I also want you to tag a doctor friend in the comments and say, hey, check this out. Okay, check this out. If there are people who've been coming to you and they've been complaining about their businesses, or they've been complaining about their experience in medicine, tell them the EntreMD Business School is open for enrollment. Go check it out. Check it out. And if you're not sure, apply. And we will help you make that decision, absolutely or absolutely not. Okay, we're not trying to swindle anybody. So that's what I have for you guys. As always, it is so much fun to hang out with you. If you have questions, hello@entremd.com. Send me a DM, post in the comments. Happy to help. And if you're ready to apply, which you should be, entremd.com/business. If it's not a good fit, we'll be happy to tell you. If it's a great fit, we'll be happy to welcome you into the school. Okay, so I'm looking forward to meeting some of the docs from the June cohort. This is really exciting. I'm super happy about it. All right, so I will see you, my friends, in the school, or I'll see you later and you tell me, Dr. Una, I made a decision. I made a decision. Okay. All right. Bye, guys.